The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 11th day of April 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, and the birthday girl, Maya Palacio, will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Folks, do you know Maya's almost as old as Sherry today? Like, seriously, like, she's catching up. Before you know it, she's going to have great, well, at least she'll have hair, as you can, yeah. But anyway, we're going to wish Maya a big happy birthday. Should we sing a song for her later? I think we should sing a live song for Maya later. What's your thoughts? Yeah, I think we should sing a song for her. So we'll sing happy birthday to Maya a bit later, folks. But happy April 11th to you. Or actually, it's my youngest uncle's birthday today as well, Uncle Tilton. Yo, we called him Uncle Sticks back in the day. So wishing him a happy birthday as well. Anyway, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome one of our favorite Olympians, my favorite Olympians, I should say. Katura Horton-Perinchief is in his house. Yeah. I'm a little giddy. I know. Well, I will say she's one of my favorite people, except 2 days of the year. 2 days of the year. You can guess what days those are, folks. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's just jump right into it. So, Kristen White, she does quite a lot of things. She's big and represents St. George's very well, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a local resident down there. But she had a post on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and it really was very interesting, and I responded to it. It made me think about some things as well. So she posted on Twitter, I've never seen so many markets as this year. It's had a negative impact on brick and mortar stores for sure, which is just the way it is. There's always something. Many retailers wonder why bother with the overhead of a store. And I responded just saying, this is worth a conversation on so many levels, but I definitely have some questions for the brick and mortar stores. I did mention it to Maya a couple weeks ago as well, that this is really, really worth a conversation. And again, I completely get where Kristen's coming from. It's something, let's be honest, we've seen vendor markets pop up so often as of late. I mean, every business is offering them, right? Now, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Personally, I didn't see anything wrong with it, but I understand how brick and mortar retailers may say, hold on, this is impacting us, right? I get it. So I think it's important for us to have that conversation. I'm going to be honest. I was absolutely excited and happy to participate as a member of Bermuda Communications Group at the Bacardi Vendors Market. I think it's awesome. I love what they've done. But there's some legal things and policies, and we're going to get into some of the meat of some things today as to and get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on vendor markets as well? So is this something that's going to be bad for us like Bermuda? What do you think? So question of the morning is, How can we ensure that vendor markets enhance retail in Bermuda? Now, let's be honest, our retail sector is suffering. It's suffering. But how can we ensure that vendor markets enhance retail in Bermuda? Now, before you answer that, do you believe vendor markets are a threat to traditional retailers in Bermuda? Yes or no? Do you believe that vendor markets are a threat to traditional retailers in Bermuda? What are your thoughts on that? Just a quick yes or no. Do you believe that vendor markets are a threat to traditional retailers? And when we say traditional retailers, the normal businesses around the country that may sell things that you can get at a vendor market. Do you believe that they are a threat? What are your thoughts? Now, as you're thinking about that, I'm just going to share, there are some pros to vendor markets. Vendor markets offer such a diverse product range, right? Some stores, retailers are focused on one thing. They may be focused on clothing. They may be focused on beauty products, right? Vendor markets offer a, great variety. Again, the most recent one I went to, you had games, you had beauty products, you had food, seasonings, and so on. So those are some pros from a vendor market that you may not get from small retailers. A lot of unique and handcrafted items that you can find, right? Personalized customer experience, like you're speaking directly to the person who owns the product that they're selling at vendor markets. You are supporting, vendors are considered small businesses, but the thing is self-employed. So they may not come with a lot of the things that a retail store has. And then vendors have the flexibility. Now, for most vendors, it's probably not their full-time job. It's something they're doing on the side. But there are some cons to it, right? You may get something from a vendor's market and you like it so much, you want to get it again, but that person only sells it at vendors market. So there's limited availability and hours. Now, it's also weather dependent. Remember when we were talking about the vendors market at Bacardi, they had a rain date. Well, there's no rain date for a retailer, right? Competition and pricing. Let's be honest. Vendors sometimes sell similar products that can lead to price comparisons and price wars. That can impact the margins. Bigger retailers have an advantage. Logistical challenges, like how many to make, how many do you think you're going to sell? A lack of brand consistency. It's important to be consistent with your brand, and vendors just don't have that strength. Now, do I believe that vendors are a threat with all that? It's a give and take, right? It's a balance. But what do you believe, folks? Do you believe vendor markets are a threat to traditional retailers in Bermuda? WKD Lama says yes. Traveling Trotty says yes. Anthony Pete says no. Melissa Butler says depends on if they have the same products. Nicole Hassel says no, I actually look for them. You get some great things from vendor markets. Absolutely. All right. So that's about 50-50. Do you believe vendor markets are a threat to traditional retailers? Well, Kristen White, and again, I appreciate her putting this out there. Again, she tweeted, I've never seen so many markets as this year. It's had a negative impact on brick and mortar stores for sure, which is just the way it is. There's always something. Many retailers wonder why bother with the overhead of a store. I think there's some solutions in this, right? And I think the point of this conversation is let's take government out of it, right? Because it's easy to say, well, government needs to tax vendors the way they tax a retailer, stuff like that. That's easy to say, right? We have quite a few of our sponsors on this show are retailers. People's Pharmacy, Noah's Ark, right? These are retailers, right? And you've got people who might say, you know what, let me go and sell some of those products. But there's a lot of benefit in going into a retailer. Return policies, right? Bigger selection, right? So I don't think that if a business is run correctly, it's really a threat. However, I understand that smaller businesses who actually have a brick and mortar may be under threat. So what are some of the solutions to that? How can we ensure that vendors markets enhance retail in Bermuda? I think you can do both. Here's a suggestion to retailers. Work with those vendors at the vendors market. Offer them the opportunity to put their products in your stores. Have you done that? Maybe you have. Work with them. That's a solution right there. what are your thoughts, the audience? How can we ensure that vendor markets enhance retail in Bermuda and don't put more stores out of business? What are your thoughts? Angeline Butler also says no. She doesn't consider vendor markets a threat to traditional retailers. Anthony Pete says retail and vendor markets can create synergy. We do. Yeah, like we and I was trying to keep us out of it, but we do. With Bermuda Trivia, we do it. I just believe in collaboration, right? There's ways to collaborate. I don't think we should say goodbye to retailers. Retailers play too much of an important role. Why? Because vendors are not always going to be there. They're what? It's not a vendor market every week, probably once a month, if that. So being able to have access to stuff means that you not probably need a retailer. And I do feel for retailers, if they don't own the buildings as well, they have to pay for staff and insurance and overhead like lights and for the electricity and rent. So I get the concerns of Kristen. I do. I think, again, like I said, it's worth a conversation on so many levels. But she went on to say, and if we don't have physical stores, that will really change the consumer experience in Bermuda. No strolling down the street, window shopping, popping into a shop. So many have already closed. I really don't see many others lasting. A new future awaits. I think it would be disastrous to have no stores. Like, again, I'm going to use St. George's since Kristen's business is there, and that's one of my favorite parts of the island. I love walking on that street. I don't even know the name of it, where pretty buildings are. And you get to look on both sides, the stores and so on. I even still like that, walking on Front Street, looking in English sports shop and Ayers Cooper. It's like, there's something about that works for me, There's something about that really works for me. And it'll work for Bermuda if done right. What are your thoughts, the audience? How can we ensure that vendors markets enhance retail in Bermuda? How can we ensure that they don't kill it? Because I don't think that the many businesses and companies and people who are putting on vendors markets, I don't think they're doing it to kill retail. That wouldn't benefit them. I truly think they're doing it to offer an alternative to people who are young entrepreneurs, getting new entrepreneurs, even people who have just been trying to get their products into people's hands for years. I think they're looking at it as they're trying to do a service for the community. I thought it was Water Street. Charles H. Duff said, I think Water Street in St. George's. Yeah, I was going to call it that, but thank you for that, Charles. But you get me, audience. Like, there's got to be a way we can make this work. Because I would hate to see, I think for the island's sake, we don't need to see retailers closing. We don't need to see more people out of work. But we also don't need to say goodbye to vendors. I think this is a space we can coexist. I do. Rakai Emery says, I think retail has to adjust its business model. Yeah. Rakai, it's about adapting, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's not, 2010, it's not 1999, it's not 1985, right? It's about adapting. And for me, again, I'm speaking from the outside looking in, I'm speaking as a vendor. What I would say to any retailer, work with the vendors. Work with the vendors. Because I tell you what, I guarantee you, at least 95% of vendors at these markets would love to have their products in some of the existing retailers. Setting up for a vendor's market, the amount of work that takes versus being allowed to have their product in a retailer, trust me, folks. Trust me. I can guarantee you, many people who are at vendors markets would love to have their products in retailers. But it's over to the retailers. It is. It's on you. How many, I would, again, I understand the fight, but you can make it, Rick, I just said it. You can work together. You can work together. And I think what Kristen done, I appreciate it because it's a rally call, and I would love to see as many retailers as possible where you can find local products. But this also means the vendor, you need to be realistic. about margins, about the amount. Because again, if you're expecting a retailer to sell it, then they need to make their money off it too. It's not charity, it's business. So both sides need to adapt. Both sides needs to understand the short and long-term goals of it. But I think there's synergy. What are your thoughts, audience? How can we ensure that vendors markets enhance retail in Bermuda? Suzanne Ingham says, vendors help to enhance their market greatly. It gives people a choice with different products. Yes, Jamel, retailers should work with the vendors. Yeah, I don't think this is a tough one to solve. Now, let's ask about the government policy side. One of the concerns is, that the lack of overhead that vendors have, right? They don't have to pay the same taxes, apparently. I don't know if this is true, by the way. This is just some of the stuff that was said online, right? Is this something? Oh, I see. Ray Clyde put some good stuff on her as well. He said, just asking, wouldn't the vendors markets be considered retail sales? If they are, wouldn't it technically be an improvement to the retail sector? I didn't think retail meant brick and mortar. To which Kristen White responded, I didn't say markets aren't considered retail sales. I question whether they improve, not wise, the retail sector, i.e. the money sector contributes to GDP. Which includes salaries, payroll, tax, customs, and duty. So I think, and Raikai says, yeah, I get it, but doesn't GDP measure consumption and investment as well? I do agree with you. So no, it's honestly, and as I said to Kristen on Twitter that day, this is worth a conversation. And these are the things that we probably aren't even considering and thinking of, right? This is worth a conversation. It's worth consideration. Are vendors subject to the payroll tax? What tax are they attached to? Rekai says, you have the right of association. People should use it to make money. He said, the government needs to stay away from it. It's not the vendor's fault that they decided to find a business model with little overhead. You're killing competition by stopping vendors. Yeah, I agree. I think we should keep the government far away from it, to be honest. Far away from the vendors market space. But the government, they see a spot where they can make money, and they're in it. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I think the landscape of shopping has changed the world over. In Bermuda, it's been online shopping, the pandemic, and now vendor markets. You know what's interesting? I might go to the what those places where you get like quality clothes for low prices. What they're called? Outlets. I might go to the outlets every now and then, right? And because I worked right across from the outlets when I first moved to Florida, Sawgrass. And you know what I realized about the outlets? The outlets are full of tourists. They're full of tourists. Like you hear, there's people from Argentina or Brazil, like South America mainly, and they get these big suitcases and they walk from store to store and shop. And I'm wondering if these folks were in here, who would be at these outlets and malls? Why am I saying that? I think in at least South Florida, tourism is keeping malls, like this shopping experience for retail, going. Bermuda, tourism, Florida, tourism. Get where I'm going with this? Okay. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I think the landscape of shopping has changed. Oh, we read that just now. Sorry. Ray Kai says, I sold calendars all 2022. They're still chasing me for money. Anthony Pete says, there are costs with vending, licenses to procure. Amani does Harbor-Nights. There is monthly costs accrued, bona fide businesses with approved license returns, taxes. Melissa Butler says, Melissa Butler says, some retail stores participate in the markets, e.g. Harbor-Nights. Yep, Harbor-Nights is popular. She also says this allows persons who do not know about the retail stores to be aware of their existence. Like I said, I think there's some synergy. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break. And we've got Katura coming up for a conversation. But I think this is necessary. I think that we need to find some solutions to this. I don't think it has to be either or. I agree that the shopping experience has changed. I definitely agree that it has changed, but I also I don't think change means eliminate. I don't think change means the shopping experience has been eliminated, right? I think we can still find a way for all to exist and all to be happy and work out. Charles H. Jeffers II, he says, the problem with vendors markets versus brick and mortar stores is the temporary nature of our vendor markets. Permanent markets in the US have become a big thing recently. I think that could work here. It was one in Lithonia, Georgia, folks. Lithonia. It was like a black vendors market. It was really like I think it's still kicking. But I agree with Charles. Like permanent markets would be great. You know, they would offer great opportunities. What does that look like in Bermuda? I don't know. But I think, you know, are you when you say permanent, are you speaking daily or weekly, Charles? But I definitely get you there. I like what is it Kiwana? Hey looky. You know, she's created a space for vendors, right? I think those kind of things work out. Yes, thank you, Charles. The Black Wall Street in Stonecrest, Georgia. That's it. And if you haven't seen that, Google it, folks. It's a pretty cool concept. But I like what Kiwana has done with Looky, Hey Looky, giving retailers a space, vendors a space. Why is that important though? Because at the end of the day, not everyone has the funding to finance. They don't all have the money to finance a brick and mortar, and that's where we're at. Yeah, Jordan Butterfield agrees. Hey looky is a great idea. Look, I think it can work, man. My hope is that there can be some synergy. If there are things in these vendor markets that you think will enhance your retail experience, reach out to the retailers, reach out to the vendors, let them know, hey, I usually shop at People's Pharmacy, or I usually get my stuff for my pets at Noah's Ark, and get them in there. It'll be easier than you think. Let's bring in Maya Palacio for the Daily Hour news break, and I wonder what she thinks on this.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, birthday girl, how you doing?
Feeling young, Jamal. Feeling young.
You just killed my next line. Next line.
I do it, you know.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we'll sing for you after, but you know, Charles H. Jeffers II, he says, "Morning, you're making her work on her birthday. I always work on mine, but that's a choice." Well, Maya, have I ever made you do anything?
No.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. She wanted to spend her birthday with you all. Okay. We've got some birthday greetings for you. Suzanne Ingham says, "Awesome day, Hamel." Well, that's how they pronounce my name in South Florida, because Spanish they pronounce the J with the H. Hamel and Maya. And she says, "Happy birthday, Maya. Have an awesome day."
Thank you.
Adeline Swan says, "Happy birthday, Palacio." Yeah. They know you by your last name. Like they cool with you at this point. Yeah.
I do like the last name shout outs.
Yeah. Okay. Palacio. But MP, did you want to add anything to this conversation? Like, are you a vendors market person, by the way? Because I know you're a store person, so.
Yeah, basically I'm a locally owned whatever establishment person. So whether it be vendors market or be you know, the brick and mortar stores, like if it's Bermuda owned and I'm home, I'm going into it for the most part. So yeah, I mean I didn't really consider what was being taken away, truthfully. I shop at both, but preferences, I suppose.
Yeah, and honestly, I figured, because again, I mean, I'm gonna tell you business, but Maya will find a deal. Like we be talking about cameras, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, I went on a Facebook Market and got this," and I'm like, "Huh?" Like she'll teach you how to support local, you know. And I think by you being that person and saying that just now, I hope that retailers and vendors can understand the importance of encouraging people to shop local. You know, everyone can win at this. You know what I'm saying?
And like, even so, there are still a lot of brick and mortar places that do carry some of the vendor stuff, like, and vendors let me know like where they're located, blah, blah, blah. But it is good to have those those spaces where we do get all the vendors together, so we know who they are and what's offered. Because I think we all know the big stores and know about them. So, whether or not people are going to them, I mean, that's a personal choice at this point, right? If they're not coming to you, then, maybe things need to be added or done or questioned.
But also, vendors, you have to know which stores to go to. Like, don't go to Noah's Ark with children's toys, knowing they have pets, right? Like, you have to also be smart when you go in. So if they tell you no, it's not necessarily because they don't like you or your product. It has to fit whatever it is, like, that they are selling, So yeah, let's keep that in mind. All right, what you got for us, birthday girl?
Well, good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News brought to you by People's Pharmacy. So starting out your news this morning, terrible as there was a collision yesterday, but the rider in the four-vehicle collision that occurred yesterday is believed to be a 72-year-old Hamilton Parish man. Now, this happened around 8:05 a.m. yesterday, April the 10th. A collision occurred on North Shore Road, Hamilton Parish, near Summers Hill Road. Initial information indicates that the collision involved 3 cars and a motorcycle. And so far, one person is understood to have sustained head injuries. Any witnesses are still encouraged to call 211. And as the latest update, they did say that the injured person was believed to be a 70-year-old man from Hamilton Parish. He was transported to the hospital via ambulance, and they're still awaiting updates on his medical condition, which they say will be, said to us in due course. But once again, any witnesses, call 211.
Oh, well. Right. I really wish everyone a speedy recovery.
Yes, indeed. It's never good to hear these things, everyone. Well, next up in our news, now that we know that the by-election will be on May 22nd for Smith North Constituency 10, there's another announcement that lets people know who stay in that area to register for the by-election, and that will close on Wednesday, the 17th of April at 5 a.m. So all voters in Smith North are encouraged to verify their registration details on the website of elections.gov.bm for the by-election for constituency 10, which will be May 22nd.
That's a Larry Marshall Jr.'s constituency. Can we nominate him, or we need to be in the constituency to nominate him?
People in the constituency need to nominate that person.
Let's set him up. Nah, he would be really, really mad at us. He would be really mad at us.
He would not take that paper in to be nominated.
Boy, he probably won't speak to me for about a year, man. Anyway, but no, folks, if you're in that constituency, you know what you have to do. There
it is. Coming up in your next news, this one's for the students and also passengers. Like anyone who's trying to further their education, please tap in, because the Ministry of Education is extending the deadline for submitting scholarships and awards applications to from May 15th of April to, starting again. The Ministry of Education has extended the deadline for submitting scholarships and awards applications to Monday, the 15th of April. So they did extend it further than what they had before, mainly because not many people have been applying. So giving students more time to apply for these valuable opportunities. They say it's pretty easy to do it online. And a spokesperson said that this year, $2 million was budgeted for scholarships and awards for students currently studying abroad or planning to attend Bermuda College or college overseas. And we wish to emphasize that it's not too late to apply online, and the process is straightforward. Now, the Ministry of Education understands the importance of providing the opportunities for Bermudians and offers various scholarships and financial awards. Now, if you didn't know, they actually have just about 11 scholarships that are available. This next slide is going to be pretty hard to read, but if you did want to screenshot it, feel free to do so right there. But it's just all the 11 listed scholarships there and opportunities that are offered to anyone that wants to take it. Again, apply. These things are free. Just get the money that you need for your education.
So I was going to ask a question. Why wouldn't people apply? It's like free money. And then I realized that my mother applied for me because I was mad at the government. I hated the government. Well, still do, but my point was I was mad at the government, so I didn't apply. But I was like, I think back, I'm like, that was the silliest thing. You don't have to like people to, work with them and get something done for your benefit, right? So I'd like to know why people are not applying for this money. Like, are they scared of being rejected? It's like when people say, I question a lot of organizations, why you ain't got no black people in positions of influence? And they're like, well, black people don't apply. Folks, don't give them an excuse. That's my point. Do not give people an excuse. Just put the application in.
I mean, sometimes it's the timing, right? I remember at one point that a scholarship was kind of due on the same time that my exams were happening as well, but things are different between Canada and the US. And it's just like, I'm trying to do this, but I also need to do that. So it's also the pressure of a deadline. So extending this hopefully gives a bit of breathing room for those students who feel like it's really too close and connected to be able to still apply. Now, remember that you could do that on bermudascholarships.com. And if you know someone who's trying to further their education, even ask them, have you applied to these scholarships yet? What do you need help with? Let me assist you, at least on getting them on the track of like getting it done. Didn't make sure they have everything for the application.
Okay.
Well, in other news, and hopefully this has been resolved, but if you didn't know, there was some water service disruptions in Devonshire, Smith, and Hamilton, and they said that they will have that fixed by April the 10th, yesterday in the afternoon. But if that still hasn't happened and you're in those areas where water is still being interrupted, you can call 278-0570 if you have any inquiries or any issues still going on. But they do say in the ministry that if you have any problems, you need water ASAP to call water trucking service.
Okay.
And more updates in the city of Hamilton that reminds you that they will have installations of new traffic light systems that will be commencing at the Sperling Hill Junction. The upgrades are essential, they say, in replacing the parts of the current systems that are no longer available. Now, a spokesperson did say that these works are tentatively scheduled to commence on the weekend of Saturday, May the 4th, and they will take approximately 5 to 6 weeks. So during that time, there will be a lot of different traffic management happening. So make sure that you're aware of that. And they would say to take Cavendish Park will remain open for accessible times as well for that same area where all the lights would just be fixed, and it's going to be quite hectic for traffic.
Yeah, good luck in the city, folks.
Indeed. In some lighter news, Keep Bermuda Beautiful is celebrating 60 years of service to the community as one of the island's oldest and most impactful environmental charities. KBB was established as a subcommittee of the Garden Club of Bermuda in 1964. In recognition of the milestone, KBB is refreshed to look at with a new colorful Bermuda-themed logo to reflect its work on the land and sea, designed by Candace Dickinson. Now, the charity will host a series of public events throughout the year in honor of its long history as a staple in the Bermuda community. The first of these is the 60th anniversary celebration that will be held on April the 28th.
Yeah, that KBB, I think you said 1966 or 65?
64.
64. Well, 60 years. It's 2024. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ben.
So congrats to them. Okay, now in this year marks the third consecutive year Carnival in Bermuda, promising an unforgettable blend of soca music, fats, local experience, big energy, and endless vibes. So there you have it. On the side there is the list of events that will be taking place and going on throughout the week of Carnival or the weekend of Carnival. So anything that you want to attend, be a part of, there it is. Those are those two new events actually going on, which is the one at Harbor Nights, which is be for family and friends and young people as well to learn.
Why is it only the third annual?
Pardon?
Why is it only the third annual? Didn't it start in 2015?
According to the press release.
Oh, I think
third
that's
consecutive year.
Yeah, I think they took it over. Yeah. Got you. Okay. Yeah, forgot about that drama.
No problem. And finally, Bermudian Aliana King is on the cover of China Vogue April issue, along with Fenty Beauty. So there she is there for you guys to witness Bermudians out there doing big things in different places.
Okay. Oh, anything in sports?
In sports, unfortunately, 24-year-old Olympic hopeful Cameron Pickering didn't qualify for the results he needed in Colombia. However, there is still an opportunity for him to qualify for this upcoming Olympic Games later on in the months. I believe it's in June for him to actually make it. He is an archer. He'll be Bermuda's first archer in the Olympics if he does end up qualifying.
Let's do it. Come on, we're rooting for you.
100%. And in our weather today, it's looking good. 71 degrees, getting a little bit higher, but it's going to be partially cloudy at times. So don't expect sun throughout the entire day, but expect a little bit and see some warm weather coming through.
All righty. Well, we've got a days of the year. It is World Parkinson's Day, and Parkinson's Day marks the birthday of Dr. J. Parkinson in April of each year. On this day, there are efforts made to increase the public awareness of the terrible disease, as well as good works put forth by the world's organizations that are dedicated to preventing and finding a cure for the disease. Dr. James Parkinson, an English doctor and scientist, first described the disease in an essay in the Shaking Palsy, which was published in 1817. So, how to celebrate? Join a World Parkinson's Day activity, raise awareness with a marathon run, learn more, share more about Parkinson's disease, hold a fundraiser, make a donation to various funds. You've got Michael J. Fox Foundation, Parkinson's Foundation, and many others. All right, but want to give you something else fun, and this goes along with Maya's birthday. It's in the US, it's National Pet Day. National Pet Day. Audience, by a show of hands, do you have a pet? Maya, you don't have a pet, do you?
Nah, not out here. I had
No?
tons back home, but not out here.
Yeah, it's National Pet Day. So let us know if you have a pet or what you would prefer. But let's go back to the birthday shout. So Traveling Charlie says happy birthday, Maya, and Ray Clyde says happy birthday, Maya, and Rosalind Famous gives you a birthday shout out. Karen Simmons, they're all saying, no, how do you pronounce this, Maya? Nika the Shield says
On
born
anniversary,
anniversary. Okay, so that's French, right?
ask Katura when she comes in.
All right. Yeah, maybe Katura knows French because she's going to the Paris, the thing that they speak, that language. Yeah. Canton Trot says, happy birthday, Maya. Nika Shield says, love the hair. And Maya, you did it yourself, huh?
Yes, sure, I did it myself. This is my trade.
She's got her trade, folks. Remember that trade conversation last week? Nana Pam says, happy birthday, Maya. Misha Fablo says, happy birthday.
Thank you, everyone, so much.
Yeah. So yes, it's French. See, we know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. Janelle Richardson says, yes, she has a pet. And Suzanne Ingham says, no pet right now. Well, Maya, you enjoy your birthday, and we'll party this weekend because we're going to a show, right?
Yes.
We're going to a show Saturday night for the birthday. Man, we're going to have fun.
They would have done it regardless if it was my birthday, everyone. Don't be too hyped up. I'm not.
I mean, probably.
Thank you, everyone, for the wishes. So I appreciate it. 27, if anyone was wondering.
27 years old, man?
Yeah.
What
Late
were
20s club.
27? Oh, never mind. See you soon. See you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow.
Maya Palacio, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, discussion, news break this morning, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Do not go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. Coming back with my favorite Olympian, Katura, Horton-Perinchief. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Largest and most trusted pet supply store for almost 30 years. Not only have you watched us grow, but we've grown together, keeping the needs of your pets first, offering advice and giving back to the community. Shop online, choose delivery, or visit us in Devonshire. And with the Egg Show in view, we will continue our yearly support and help you find everything you need for one of Bermuda's most favorite community events. See you soon.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Quick note, as we did yesterday, There's 100 and something of you tuned in right now. Do us a favor. It costs you nothing. Takes 2 seconds. Whatever platform you're on, give us a like, a love, follow, and share it with your friends and family, especially because we're about to welcome one of our favorite and my favorite Olympians, Katura Horton-Perinchief. Let's give her a warm TDH welcome. Well, greetings, madam. How are you?
I'm your favorite. That's
Yeah.
so sweet.
What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? How are you?
Greetings. Did you ask me how I was?
Yeah. How are you doing?
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not sure if that's indicative. I'm purely decorative until about 11, so here I am. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
We appreciate that you showed up so early, so early to make this happen.
And bon anniversaire, Maya, is French, and it is a happy birthday. So, and I do speak French, Jamal.
Oh yes, that Canadian thing, right? Yes. So hold on. So, how did you pronounce that again?
Bon anniversaire.
Oh, okay. Give me 2 years. I'll get it done.
Got it.
2 years. But no, we've had so many conversations in the past, Katura, and it's almost like as I was getting ready for this conversation, I'm like, but there's still like 100 other things we can talk about with the audience. And that is crazy because we've had so many different conversations. But for those who don't know, maybe, not everyone likes me, so they probably won't tune into some of our conversations. Just speak about your own career before we get into, the meat of today's conversation. The first Black woman to compete in diving in the 2024 Olympics. And, it was quite an achievement, it was historic. But when you look back at that, you look back at your time as an elite athlete, what are you most proud of?
So first of all, it's the 2004 Olympics, not 2024. But gosh, I think the journey itself it invokes pride. At the end of the day, it was a 16-year journey of just qualifying and getting there. And I think so few people understand, I watch people who look at our athletes and they're like, oh, she's fast, she should go Olympics. Well, that's a decision that people make very, very early in their careers. When you're 5 years old and you can look at the Olympics and say, that's something I think I want to do. That's when the work starts. And that's when parents and the work in. So, it's a long journey, and I'm proud of Bermuda, and I'm proud that I had this stick-to-itiveness and incredibly supportive mother and Bermuda community that kept me on the straight and narrow that way.
I'll never forget, we had a public conversation a couple of years ago, and you shared the story about, your mom, obviously was a softball, great for Bermuda, represented Bermuda. And she, tried to put you in softball.
Devastated. I think she's still devastated. I mean, she tried to put me in softball, and she would throw but she throws things like she'll throw a key at me or an apple, and it just hits my face and rolls down. And she's, my God, this can't be my biological child. But we found my niche.
And I think there's lessons in that. There, folks, it's that thing where you may be a great footballer, and you want your son to be a great footballer like you, and that just may not be their sport. But what your mom did was what you just said, find your niche, right? That to me was a great story, and folks, I'll direct you to that. But you just spoke about your journey. When you think about it, what was the most memorable part? Was it the preparation? Was it the actual dive in the Olympics, the dives you took? Was it what along that journey was most memorable?
Walking into that Olympic stadium behind that Bermuda flag, it remains 20 years later the proudest moment of my life and career. Knowing that 64,000 people on this rock were up and cheering for us was absolutely incredible. And also, I think that the next most memorable would probably be seeing people that you only see on TV who are just as excited to see you. So I know that because of the historical significance of what I was able to do 20 years ago, I was in the Olympic newsletter, and Venus Williams came up to me in the dining hall there and said, "We have to trade pins. Like, I'm so proud of you." And, I'm looking at her like, I'm so proud of you. But yeah, we're all over there just doing our best for our country. And that evokes pride just in itself.
Indeed, that's an awesome story. You know, you said it. People you only see on TV. Like, to think of this, you were competing in a space where, like, I think LeBron and Carmelo may have been in the Olympics.
LeBron and Carmelo were rookies. So AI, Tim Duncan, they were the big names there. Yeah.
Yeah, like you saying that, wow, yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. So that must be memorable. Let's speak about some challenges. Obviously, it's not all smooth sailing. People usually just see the results of the work, not the journey which you mentioned. What are some of the challenges you faced during your career, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So, I think as an athlete anyway, you're dealing with injuries, you're dealing with fatigue. So you got to stay focused for 2 decades, which is not easy. And, the sacrifice of you're not going out for your birthday with Maya. You're not doing things that you would normally do as a teenager, that teenagers do. So there's a lot of life sacrifice there. I think too, for me, breaking a color barrier as a young woman, and I was 21 years old. So I think that people do forget that, we're kids. These are kids doing this stuff. And for the most part, it was just something that breaking a color barrier in a majority white sport was something that I probably mentally and psychologically was not prepared to do. Obviously, I grew up in Toronto, but racism as an actual structural factor in my career didn't really occur to me until I realized that, this is a subjective and judged sport. So my success was on the back of people who may not want me in the space. But the sport has come such a long way, and we see Black bodies and we see bodies from all over the show. So the judges have had to get used to us because they had to get used to me. But those were the biggest challenges, I would say. And having a support system like Bermuda and like my mother behind me, my family really, was an incredible asset.
That's interesting. And I think you can actually take that and put it in almost any industry.
That's right.
Legit. These are the things that people are fighting for in different industries today. And you faced that in sport. And I'm just glad that I don't think you necessarily did it for these reasons, but you were a trailblazer doing something you loved. And it didn't let me do this to make a name for myself because you just wanted to dive, right? Let's speak to the mental aspect. People think athletes and they just think physical preparation. How important is the mental preparation as an elite athlete preparing for the Olympics? And what was it like for you? Like, how did you prepare?
So I think we really, in my day, we didn't really have the benefit of sort of sport psychology and domains of sport science that have really evolved over the last decade and a half, I would say. So a lot of it was just, as I said, support system. So coaches and my family helping deal with competition anxiety, and the fact that so much of this, especially as a growing girl in a sport where you're in a Speedo in front of the whole planet, body image issues, and just overall regular growing pains that are taking place on the global stage. So yeah, all of that stuff, I think the mental preparation piece has, for every athlete, has been enhanced. And when you get to an Olympic Games or Pan Am Games or World Championships, physically, a lot of us are very much on the same level. And it's the mental edge that that will make the difference between a medal position and last. So
yeah, it's interesting. You know, and that was going to be my question. When you think of the Olympics in 2004 versus 20 years later, I'm not dating you. I'm just saying it's 2024.
Go ahead and date me. We're getting old, Jamal.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're maturing. How have you seen it evolve from then to now that benefits the athlete much better?
Gosh, looking at the athlete as a full person now instead of just a machine for performance and for clout has been, watching that evolution has been a thing of beauty, really. And even things like, I think of the fact that when we had the opening ceremony in Athens, they herded all of the athletes onto the field and covered us with a white sheet that they used to project images onto athletes. So we were propped in that entire thing, which is hilarious because we all were there to compete. Like, performance was the name of the game. But so this time in 2024, they're taking athletes into account. They've centered athletes. There's early departure from the opening ceremony. And while they are all welcome to come in and watch it, if they're competing, they can leave early. So these are things that we're starting to see as evolutions in sport, looking at athletes as more than just the physical beings of an athlete.
Yeah, they're not machines, they're people. Treated as such. Post diving career, you've managed to stay involved, give back in many ways, star diving camp. But speak to us about your current role with the Bermuda Olympic Association. What does that entail?
Yeah, so when I came home, I don't think we did have some athlete representation at an athletes commission level, but the Bermuda Olympic Association made a big push to involve athletes at the administrative level. And for a lot of us, that was not something that we were used to doing. We would be athletes and then we would retire. So I ran for a spot on the BOA board, and I got it. So I am an executive member of the Bermuda Olympic Association, and my first chef de mission spot was in the Nanjing Youth Olympic Games 10 years ago in 2014. So now to be chef de mission for the 2024 Olympic Games is such an honor. But that is my role. I also chair the standards committee, which works with the national sports governing bodies to set standards of qualification for those events that we don't have any, and to select the teams that represent Bermuda.
All righty. Folks, if you have any questions or comments for Katura, please send them through. We'll get through as many questions and comments as possible. In the last Olympics, Dame Flora Duffy brought home Bermuda's first gold medal. What do you think that meant then and means today for Bermuda?
I mean, like, we all watched it. We all watched it with bated breath and with tears. And obviously what it means for Bermuda is that we belong at the top of every single ladder, and that mediocrity is a choice that we are no longer willing to, settle for. We're excellent, and we're excellent as a country, as an island, the magnitude of what Flora was able to accomplish was not lost on anybody in any industry. So, I think it really energized the island. And the funny thing is, we also had another athlete there who did an incredible job in making a quarterfinal and was inspired by watching that happen on his Olympic team. So, she's an inspiration. She's an incredible human, which I think is even more of a testament to the Bermudian spirit.
Indeed. And obviously, we have some people who are trying to qualify still for this year, as Maya reported today. What advice would you give aspiring Olympians who are looking to qualify still for the Olympics?
Do it. Go fast. Jump farther. Let's go. It's crunch time. They are on the long list to qualify because they are all capable of qualifying. So there's no doubt in my mind that everybody who is giving their best will achieve. So they need to achieve at the right time. And, if not you, who? So let's get it going.
Indeed. One last question about the crowd, because you said something earlier, being the flag bearer. I know a lot of Bermudians, with the world opening up, a lot of Bermudians did attend the World Cup in Qatar. I'd love to see, now that we've got a gold medalist, obviously the Olympics in Tokyo, we were still ahead of a pandemic, so there wasn't as, many people in there. Do you know, or can people reach out to the Bermuda Olympic Association to find out what events they can attend and get tickets and so on? How do people go about that?
So there was a lottery. The Olympic Association doesn't sell tickets for the Olympics. The organizing committee does. So there was a ticket lottery that took place about a year ago. But there are opportunities, if you're going to be in Paris, to buy tickets. But it's on the Paris 2024 website. So it's not something that the Bermuda Olympic Association can help with. And this is actually the first Olympics where the National Olympic Committees are not in charge of really selling tickets. But there are opportunities. And when we think about things like the ceremonies, like I think you had mentioned with flag bearing and the ceremonies and walking behind, those ones, I think they have cut down on the spectatorship, mainly because of security reasons, because they're doing the Olympic ceremony on the Seine on boats. So it's going to be a huge situation. But fit in where you fit in. So there may be standing room only opportunities there if you're in Paris. All
right, and final one. What are some things we should be looking out for this year in the Olympics? Not just from a local standpoint, but there's been talk about Sha'Carri Richardson finally winning her race. Any others records that might be in jeopardy? What should we be looking for and excited about?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for us. I'm excited for us. But the Olympic Games is the epitome of sporting excellence. So we've got obviously the U.S. Basketball teams. Women, there's going to be a huge push to watch for some of the heroes who were in the NCAA finals, which was incredible, to be on the women's U.S. basketball team. So looking out for them. It's going to be Jamaica versus the USA on the track, but it's always nice to see some of the people that we don't normally see. We have a returning Olympic champion in the 100 meter from Italy. So we'll see how it goes. But I think it's going to be an incredible show, as it always is.
Indeed. Katura, thank you so much. Always great talking to you. And you were wide awake. I think we should do this more often.
Thank you. I'm going back to sleep.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate you. Talk soon.
See ya.
All right, Katura, Horton-Perinchief, folks, if you appreciated that conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share that conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, someone's going to be eligible for this week's prize if they get today's question correct. Stick with us.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Children depend on every single caring adult in our community to make sure they are safe from sexual harm. Keeping them safe not just in April, but every day. Whether you're a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, or a caregiver, We ask that you take just 3 hours out of your busy schedule to learn what you can do to make sure the precious children in your life are protected. They are worth it. Join the 13,000 SCARS certified adults by simply visiting our website to sign up for a free SCARS training session. Learn about online and body safety, how to protect them, and how to respond if they are harmed. This information is vital to their well-being and their future. Because they are children, it is our responsibility, Bermuda, to protect them. Visit scarsbermuda.com and learn what you can do to help the child in your life stay safe.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions exacerbated by market volatility, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Friesenbrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal and cost-effective risk management cover. Therefore, we deliver a full suite of competitive insurance products to protect your business. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our broking services.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Katura, Horton-Perinchief, one of our Bermudian Olympic heroes or sheroes, a person who has made a difference in her sport for the world, right? So we appreciate her coming by so early in the morning. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, this is on you. The first person who puts the correct answer that shows up on my screen first, it has to show up on my screen first, will be eligible for tomorrow's giveaway. All right, here's the question. The Great Barrier Reef is off the coast of which Australian state? All right, it is not Perth, but WKD Lama. You are correct. You said, well, you missed the end, but we got you. It's Queensland. Queensland is the answer. Yeah, it's Queensland. So, yeah, we will add WKD Lama to the eligible winners. So you join Stacey Ann, Hadaleen, and Anika. WKD Lama. All right. Well, let's wrap up today's conversation as far as the retailers go and the vendors markets. Again, I think vendors markets are great. I think they have offered people who some were trying to make extra money, hustling, some who it's their main job and trying to find a way to share their products with others. They're offering people an opportunity to make a living. As far as the impact on retailers, I will continue to say I would encourage the retailers and the vendors to work together. Vendors reach out to retailers, retailers reach out to vendors. See if there's a way that you can collaborate to make it work for both parties. I think there's more pros than cons in it if people set aside their egos and work together. As far as the conversation with Katura, always appreciate talking to Katura Horton-Perinchief. One of my favorite people, genuinely. I think what she's done is bigger than sport, and what she continues to do is bigger than sport. I hope that we continue to Olympians, and my hope is that there will be more gold medals on the way if we do that. All right, daily inspiration. Here's your daily inspiration for the day, folks. Progress lies not in enhancing what is, but in advancing toward what will be. And that's Khalil Gibran. So I like that one, actually. All right, folks, it's that time. We didn't sing happy birthday to Maya, so we're going to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Maya. Happy birthday to you. How old are you? She already told us, so we can't make fun of her there. But happy 27th to Maya. Honestly, really great person. Proud to say that she's a colleague of mine, and really am wishing her her happiest and healthiest year yet. But it is that time, folks. Please do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.